Mr. Governor, if I could ask a question to follow up on the Kerry Lugar, your remarks on Kerry Lugar, because like you, I supported it primarily for its symbols, but from our perspective, we wanted to show, and I testified on its behalf before Congress, but we wanted to show that the United States was investing in the people of Pakistan, the civilian government people of Pakistan, and that we were there for the long term, because as you know, the Kerry Lugar anticipates 5 years with an anticipation of 10 years. But I've always felt, like you, that it is very small. $1.5 billion a year, $7.5 billion over 5 years is, as you say, and I agree, nothing when you compare to the needs of the Pakistani people. Could you speak to the sustainability? You are in a very unique position because you hold a very high and responsible government position, but you also have a very rich background in the private sector and in finance. And could you speak to the sustainability of the Pakistan economy to support projects for its people? Specifically, if you could talk about the value-added tax that people are talking about and the tax structure of Pakistan government. Thank you.
Well, Kerry Lugar, 1.5 is the lower limit. It's not the upper limit. I mean, next year it could be up to $2 billion. It could be up to $3 billion. So it's the lower limit is 1.5. But again, the message is important. It's nothing to what we need. We again in Pakistan have got a tax structure which is a disaster, frankly. I mean, 10% of our GDP is taxation is 10%, less than that, 9%. I mean, most countries 20%. In fact, if we just paid our taxes like good citizens, we wouldn't need Kerry Lugar again, So this is again part of the culture of Pakistan. When people feel disassociated from the state, they don't have a sense of commitment, then they tend not to pay tax. So whenever the government tries to impose tax or pay tax, people protest violently against it. The people who are the most vociferous are people who can afford to pay the tax. So when the shopkeepers and the merchants are taxed, they're the ones who can come onto the streets first of all. And nobody likes to pay tax. I mean, you've seen what's happened in Greece. So we're not unique in that. Or in the state of California when they try to tax people there. So in every country, people, and the more vociferous and the more organized they are, the stronger they fight their case against paying tax. But we unfortunately have to pay indirect tax because people don't pay direct taxation in Pakistan. They don't declare their incomes and pay direct taxation. So the rich people should be paying if there was a direct taxation system. But because there is a reluctance to pay, so you have to tax people indirectly, which is in form of VAT or in the form of other taxation. When you do that, you hit everyone across the board, from the poor and the rich. So if you tax VAT, whether a poor man is buying something or a rich man is buying something, everybody gets taxed. So there is a problem we are facing, and I think we have a power problem in Pakistan, which I think by August we should be at least over the main issues there. And then we have to convince people that this is what Pakistan has to. And we've come a long way in these 2 years. I mean, some of the things we've accomplished, frankly, if I was to go back 2 years and think, could we have done this? I would have never believed it. Never believed it. Never believed they could have had these elections in Gilgit and Baltistan and had the National Finance Commission Award and all these various federal building legislation. I would never have believed it. So they're bringing in value-added tax, and I've got my fingers crossed, but there's going to be another street demonstrations against that. Nobody likes to pay tax. But, we have a problem. And I think a lot of third world countries have the same problem. In fact, when Secretary Clinton came, she pointed it out and said to people sitting there, who were, of course, the big businessmen, there was a long silence when she finished. She said, you people don't pay tax yourself. And you criticize Americans giving money or not giving money. But why don't you give money yourself to the state? Because you don't, pay your own tax. And she had all the facts and figures which somebody had given her. Not me, somebody else. So she, made the point very strongly. So that's the structure we have to go through, I'm afraid. And if I was to give you an easy answer, I don't have them. But, we've done the sums, and we have to raise the money.
You've just given me the best answer I've heard to that question. Thank you very, very much. And on behalf of the Middle East Institute and everybody here, we thank you so much.
Thank you very much.